Hello everyone, Prime here. So we're going to be covering the Hachiman, or God of 8 Banners, some facts about him, lore, and all of that good stuff. I'm 67.4% sure that you'll learn something new or interesting, such as how the Hachiman saved all Japan from deadly invaders, or why he's very important to both Shinto gods and Buddhists alike. After all the lore stuff's done, there'll be some speculation on good Hachiman at the end of the video. Feel free to tell me all of your thoughts and opinions about that in the comment section below. It gets lonely when neglected, as does the like button, so show it some love as well, and you'll see more of my stuff first. So with that said, let's get into this. So Hachiman, or God of 8 Banners, is in Japanese mythology in charge of war, archery, and powerful warriors, hardened in battle. He is known to be the divine protector of Japan and its people, who worship him for varying reasons, from the fishermen who pray for a full fishing net, to common folk who wish for plentiful harvest. Some gods have animals or creatures that they hold in the spotlight, and for the Hachiman, the messenger dove was no different. Despite a story that I'll tell you about soon enough, our Hachiman is not directly worshipped by the people. Instead, shrines of Hachiman can usually be found around Japan to connect the people to 3 separate beings. Ojin, the emperor, who is considered to be the living version of Hachiman, his own mother, the empress Jingo, and the goddess Himegame. During the Kamakura period of Japan, our Hachiman got a bit more ripped, and big thanks to his change in worshippers, which just goes to prove how awesome fans can be. Warrior samurais were more often than not found marveling in his might, and he also saved Japan's people from one of its most well-known foes, the Mongolians. As Mongol forces marched ever closer, people all across the land began to pray, and in turn, the Hachiman listened, sending a great wind to meet the large armies of the invading Mongolians. This kamikaze, or divine wind, swept through the enemy fleet with ease, and Japan was safe. Hachiman is said to have maintained the purity of the imperial lineage by denying a Buddhist monk Dokyo's claim to the throne. Hachiman's might began to be respected by the clergy of Buddhists in early Japan. This Dokyo sought to replace the current Shinto god faith with Buddhism entirely, and soon enough began amassing power. Thing was, Hachiman wasn't exactly committed to the Buddhism movement, and so didn't support Dokyo's claim to the throne. Dokyo was soon appointed king of law, giving him the necessary bravery to try his hand at the throne. The ambitious monk even set his sights on the empress Shutoku, and a union between himself and the empress would have empowered his position to a great degree. She almost did abdicate herself from the throne, but an aristocrat, Kiyomaru, supposedly had a way to convey the will of Hachiman. You see, the basis of Dokyo's claim to the throne was that to have him seated there was the will of Hachiman himself. However, this was not the case, as Kiyomaru revealed Hachiman stated that a former servant of the Lord had no place on the throne, and that the throne should be succeeded by someone of imperial lineage. Dokyo was not pleased with this answer, and in retaliation demoted Kiyomaru, as you would, and had him banished, not like a child at all, before also sending some assassins after him for good measure. Luckily, the assassins failed thanks to a storm, and afterwards Dokyo had lost any and all claims that he ever had to the throne, and thanks to this, Hachiman was credited with reaching an understanding between the old Shinto beliefs and the Buddhist practices, earning him the title Great Bodhisattva. I butchered that name, I know. So thanks to good data mining, we know that Hachiman will be a physical god, his passive being similar to Thor's, giving him a power bonus for each nearby god. It doesn't say whether this buff counts with or without allies, so considering that Thor's doesn't, let's just say that this will contribute to it. It also doesn't say how much it stacks and how much individual power it'll be giving. His first skill will apparently be like Rama's one, a toggleable skill. As to what it will do, I'm not too sure, but it does seem to be some sort of main clear tool for him. I'm assuming that it will be just that. The first named skill here is called Reaction, which, like his one, can be cancelled with the right click and instantly makes me think of some sort of windshield or deflection ability, considering his lore. The kamikaze, as I said, was used to protect and defend the Japanese people, and so having some sort of wind-based defense skill makes sense. lore-wise at least. If he will be a hunter, I think he'll be a hunter, then having a defensive ability will also be quite unique for the class generally. It's also a damage buff, but there's also a special bullet point here, so I'm assuming that it will require some skill and it will be some sort of parry ability. Learning special timings for that, probably going to have to be something that we'll have to practice and get used to. If it includes an immunity frame, then I definitely think that a chance to mess up the skill will be necessary, because as we all know, being on the other side of an Aegis shield is everything but fun. If this will be some sort of parry or deflection skill, then there's a good chance that it will make some sort of reference to Buddhism, purely because Hachiman was eventually converted, or rather accepted, as a Buddhist deity, and as well as some sort of protector god. And with that being so, a defensive ability such as this makes sense in this form. Of course, we'll just have to wait and see, but let's see. The 3 looks like an escape, but also a knock-up, so it could be a roll of some sort. Think Rama mixed in with Chiron for now, but it might require you to land the knock-up in order for you to get the roll, or land the whole duration of the roll to then get the knock-up. And it'll also have a 10-second cooldown, which makes sense. Of course, most of the more powerful escapes, like, well, a lot of Hunter escapes, such as, I don't know, Izanami Jingwei's escape, so on and so forth, those have longer cooldowns. So as this only has a 10-second cooldown, perhaps I'm leaning towards the idea that perhaps you have to land maybe a knock-up, or it's just not that much of a long-distance escape, but again, we'll just have to wait and see. As for the ult, it seems like one you charge without the variable speed control, and instead of melee swings, you can shoot, but there's also some sort of explosion at the end of the charge, meaning that we can all rejoice as yet another hunter will be getting a large, obnoxious AoE in their kits. Yay! There's a chance that his one-off will be based off of the kamikaze attack I mentioned earlier. With that being the case, the explosion stands to make a bit more sense for the ult, but also it might be more similar to a Hebo 4 in that case. Failing that, the one will probably have a bunch of wind effects around the arrows, which is nice to think about, I suppose, if you care about that kind of thing. Other than that, the Hachiman has 2 sort of main appearances, maybe 3, I suppose. Standard feudal era Japan samurai armor. When he's in battle, usually mounted atop a horse and bow and arrow. In Smite, it doesn't really typically matter what type of bow it is, as long as they use some sort of bow, they're going to be a hunter. With that said, we've reached the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have any ideas, any thoughts or speculations of your own, go ahead and leave those in the comment section down below. Can't wait to read some of those. I'll leave a link to the data mining page in the description if you want to check that out, and thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, as that helps me out quite a lot. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe for more great content just like this. Until the next video, have a very, very, very good day. I've been Prime, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.